iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Welcome in here tonight, race fans, to the Stafford Motor Speedway for the Dr. Noise Spring Fling 100 here, presented by the Upstate Racing League. The Best Golf Corporation's making its first race of the season here tonight at Stafford. We've been here multiple times, but tonight, with a field this stacked, you just never know who is going to pick up a win. My name is Roger Muth, joined here tonight by my co-host of Kelly Talk. Kelly, a great race about to break out here on a Wednesday night.
Yeah, Stafford should provide some fairly exciting racing, as you see these drivers usually come down into the corners off of the actual racing surface and using the entirety of the apron to actually make the corner. So it's a very narrow track as well compared to a lot of the other ones we've raced so far, where these guys have been able to go too wide pretty comfortably. So I think we're going to see a lot of drivers fighting for that bottom lane tonight.
Tonight is the third race of the season as we've been to the Kern County Raceway, where Stephen Rochfort was able to pick up his first win of the season, second of his career. And then it was Brian Hacker singing a little tune over at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway for his second career victory. Tonight, though, here at Stafford, it's going to be one of the 25 drivers that are out there, and right now they are in qualifying here tonight for the Best Golf Creations Pro Series, and Mike Alexander will snag his first pole of the season. The past champion of car number 75 will start P number 1 here tonight. Kelly, with 25 cars, 100 laps. It's a lot of cars, not a lot of laps, and a short track.
And like I said, not a lot of space for 25 cars as well. And with how flat this track is, that bottom lane is going to be the place you want to be. I don't think really a second lane will develop much at all, like we've seen at a few of the tracks so far this year. So it's just going to be a fight for space, fight for position. But hopefully these drivers will be able to keep it clean tonight. But now we are coming down and cars are getting onto the grid.
That's right. Starting lineup time here tonight for 100 laps in the Dr. Noise Spring Fling 100 for the Best Colorful Creations Pro Series. Lineup will look like this here tonight. Starting on the front row, you heard about him already. Car number 75, that'll be Mike Alexander. P number 2 here tonight, it's going to be the G-Man of GM4, and he'll start P2 in car 13. A much better starting spot here tonight for the driver of car number 6, Joe Schaefer Jr. It'll be P number 3. To the outside of him, driving car number 15, he has a pole this season to be car number 15 of Matthew Barkhouse. And how about Brian Hacker, the Hack Daddy out of Huntley, Illinois? Car number 2 will start back into the 5th spot. Well, it's Chris Stump, the driver out of Ohio, and car number 95 will go from 6th. Blade Timmons is back this week in car number 23. He'll start from the 7th starting spot, while Scott Austin in the Austin Designs number 5 will go from 8th. Gary Eschen in the Jumpman number 23 will go from the 9th starting position, and the Best Golf for Creations number 81 of Jimmy McIntyre rounding out the top 10.
Starting just outside the top 10, we got Dr. Noise himself starting in 11th place in that 39 machine. To his outside, the 96, the big boss man, Al Smith Jr. Stephen Roach really rolling off in 13th with Matt McLean in the 88 car to his outside. Philip Martin in the 46 machine, he'll be rolling off in 15th. Alongside him will be Adam Gable in the 16th. Gavin Eisel will be starting off in 17th with Rodney Huntoon starting to his outside in that 47 car. Ty Delphia will be on the inside of row number 10 and to his outside, the 06 of Mike Peak.
Starting back into the 21st starting position here tonight, he's a rookie on the asphalt, driving car number 15, the driver out of New York. That'll be Tyler Bushy. The driver out of Crossville, Tennessee, the driver that's been watching out for storms from the sky. That'll be racing Jason, car number 98. Then back there into P number 23, a rookie on the asphalt out of Canada, driving car number 53. That'll be Wade Purchase. To his outside, a fellow Canadian Maple Leaf, car number 92. That'll be Adam Turner. And starting shotgun to the field, car number 15 of Ryan Holland in the pink Posse entry. He will start back there, shotgun to the field. That's 25 cars, 100 laps is what we have coming up here in just a couple of moments. 2 pace laps tonight here to get the heat in the motor, heat into the tires.
And Mike Alexander, as you mentioned, he is a former champion here, and he's still 4th in the points at the moment just after the first 2 races of the season. So he still has an opportunity to build up a championship contention and maybe get his championship back, but one of his main contenders is going to be starting just to his outside. Guillaume Fortin only led a single lap so far this season, but he's had 2, I think both races were second place finishes. So him just being very consistently at the front might be able to get him a back-to-back championship if he keeps this up.
It's exactly what he wants to do this season, as he is the overall points championship leader, coming into the night by 4 points over Brian Hacker, 6 points over Stephen Rochefort, and 14 points over Mike Alexander as they're starting next to each other. They're coming into the restart zone here. It'll be the number 75 of Mike Alexander down to the inside with Guillaume Fortin to the outside. 100 laps here tonight, and the Dr. Noise Spring Fling 100 starts right now as they head to turn number 1.
Drivers side by side now going into turn number 1 here, and you can see all those drivers on the outside are going to try to get themselves to the inside. Guillaume getting a little bit loose off of turn 2, but he gets a spot right in front of Joe Schaefer Jr. in that Epic Media machine. He's able to slot himself down. However, Matthew Barkhouse still stuck to that outside line. He's still even up, though, with the 6 car, getting a good run off the corner, so he's going to be able to stay side by side, but that inside line just a little bit too strong. Now that 6 is starting to pull ahead.
Yeah, the Epic Media number 6 of Joe Schaefer Jr. last week making his first start of the season was starting to come through the field, and unfortunately an untimely caution for him relegated him to a finish that he, thought he deserved better of. Right now, Joe Schaefer Jr. able to wrap that bottom side of the speedway. Right behind him is the number 2 of Brian Hacker. Hacker trying to follow him past car number 15 of Matthew Barkhouse. Barkhouse to the outside. Kelly alluded to it earlier. Everybody was going to be fighting for the bottom side of the speedway, and now we see Brian Hacker in the Austin Designs number 2 wrapping the bottom. He's got the left side tires down on the apron here tonight, trying to get the number 2 to turn.
Yeah, everyone's going to be on the bottom and onto the apron as they use just that little bit of difference in banking to help kind of hook the car around, as there really isn't much banking to really use here at this racetrack. You see a lot of drivers. This is more of a modified track. You see these modifieds just ripping around here, but in these late models, these guys have to use the banking as much as possible.
Everybody already going single file here as Alexander is out front leading the way. Down the back straightaway they go. You see the distance between first and second, maybe call it a half a car length as they currently run here tonight. This time by, we're complete lap number 5 here tonight at the Stafford Motor Speedway. Mike Alexander started from the pole and is still currently leading here at Stafford.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a tire game here tonight because these guys are going to have to make these tires last. They do have another set in the pits, but we've seen throughout this season that you don't have much time under caution here at these short tracks. They can usually only get the right size changed. And you'll have to see if these guys can make sure they don't use the full apron, because that will burn up those right sides.
So as everybody has gone single file here tonight, one driver who has had some little bit of bumps and bruises already, that'll be the 96 of Al Smith. He's dropped 12 positions since the drop of the green flag. Everybody else is working themselves into a long run, green flag run like we normally see here on a Wednesday night with these drivers. They're all trying to save them and see where they will land at the end of the 100-lap feature event here this evening. We talked about Al Smith being the driver that has lost the most spots here early on. Gary Eschen, car number 23, the jump man, He's picked up 2 spots here early on. He finds himself running 7th, and just behind him, Bill Martin trying to work over. Well, one of those veterans, the number 95 of Chris Stump, is currently sitting there into P number 8. Bill Martin was all over the back end of him. Wasn't quite able to find a way around as he had to funnel back into line last time down to the turn number 1.
Yeah, drivers just trying to save the tires for now. Later on, though, they might have to start laying the bumper to each other because there does not seem to be any way to pass here unless you can just get some kind of run off the corner. But I don't see that being possible unless the guy in front of you has really burned up his stuff.
So with everybody going single file, the question is, where is the battles? Well, there's a battle back here. It's part of that the Panther Posse group. There's car number 53 of Wade Purchase going to the inside of the number 15 of Tyler Bushy. That's back there outside the top 20. Right now, it's Purchase running 21st. Holland is back there in 22nd. And then Bushy now is all the way back to 23rd. And now 24th as the boss man of Al Smith is going to pick another one off. He was down into the grass in the opening lap down the back straightaway in the number 96. And is going to have a long way to climb to get back to where he started here tonight. Smith currently running back in 23rd, 11 positions off the pace of where he started.
Yeah, I missed what happened to Al Smith Jr., but I took a look at his car. It does look completely clean, so he should be fine. But looking up towards the front of the field, Joe Schaefer Jr. is closed up to Guillaume Fortin and took a little bit of a peek that time down the back straightaway, or sorry, I think that was the front straightaway. As he was just trying to look at where he can maybe get a spot on that 13 car, but there is just no opportunity. Now he gets a little bit wide through 1 and 2, and that actually may have opened up an opportunity for Brian Hacker, who's also closing up this gap, as we've got a tight 4-car group at the front of the field.
Yeah, it's a 4-car, a little bit of a breakaway over Matthew Barkhouse, who has about a car length. One driver scraping the wall there. That's the jump man, number 23 of Gary Eschen. He got up into the outside wall out of turn number 4. You see him utilizing all 4 tires on turns 1 and 2, down below the banking, the apron, if you will, down at 1 and 2. Eschen doing everything he can to try and stay ahead of the number 95 of Chris Stump. He knows if he gets up out of the groove and has to travel the back, the outside towards the back of the field, that whole bottom lane is just going to freight train him, and he doesn't want to do that here, especially on lap number 16. That'd be a long way back to fall because everybody's lined up on the bottom side.
Yeah, you get popped out of line once, you're going to lose multiple positions, just like you said. They are nose to tail. There would be no gap for that 23 car to get back in, or really anyone else that may get shunted out of line here, but that 4-car group still opening that gap over Matthew Barkhouse. Barkhouse just kind of seems to be on an island right now, as he's by himself, just a few car lengths behind the lead group and a few car lengths ahead of Blade Timmons, who leads a very long line of cars.
We'll see if Matthew Barkhouse is saving tires. Last time by at the line, the race leader did a 19.86 second lap, and Matthew Barkhouse was a 19.94, so just about a tenth of a second off there between the two drivers that are running first all the way back to the 5th position. Blade Timmons is now leading that, caught a second pack. He's back there into the 6th spot ahead of Gary Eschen. It looks like there might be a little damage on the right front fender of car number 23 there of Blade Timmons. Timmons missing last week's race. He's back here tonight for round number 3. He does get a drop week, so he's able to factor that into his points at the end of the season if he were towards the front of the field, and, well, maybe a chance for a championship. Another pass here, though, for the number 96 of Al Smith Jr. He'll go around Ryan Holland. Got around Wade Purchase. Now Smith up to the 21st spot. For the driver that has lost the most spots in the opening laps of this event here tonight at Stafford, he's the driver that has picked up the most spots also.
And drivers getting fairly tight here in this second pack. Looks like Eschen, Stump, Martin, and Austin all just on top of each other going through these corners. So every one of them is looking for maybe some sort of a mistake, some sort of gap to open up on the bottom. If they can at least get their nose in, that will kind of establish the position maybe for the next corner. And it'll probably take them a few laps, but once they can get to the inside, they will pretty much guarantee that pass unless they make a mistake themselves.
It's only lap number 22 out of the 100 scheduled here at the Dr. Noise Spring Fling. So the question is, how many feathers do you want to ruffle here in the early stages of this one? A lot of veteran presence right here in this second pack. You got Eschen, you got Stump, Martin, Austin, Roach. For these drivers, they are not new. Well, they may be, a couple of them are new faces here to the Upstate Racing League, but they are very veteranized when it comes to short track racing on iRacing, or some of these drivers in the real world side of things having that experience lap 24, 25, maybe just a little too soon to really poke the bear, because you never know what's going to happen when it comes down to lap number 99. And, well, if you did it to me on lap 24, you can guarantee lap 99 I'm coming back to hand you the same thing.
And a lot of these drivers have been around the Upstate Racing League for a long period of time and have been racing each other for a long period of time. So they have both mutual respect for each other and sometimes maybe some grudges that they've maybe carried over from previous races or previous seasons. So that's another thing to consider, is if you bump a guy this week, maybe he'll come back and get you the next. But here comes the 95, Chris Stump getting right up the rear left of Gary Esch and just couldn't quite get an opportunity there. It looked like he got on the brakes a little bit late in the corner and kind of slid out a little bit, but he was able to maintain control of that car.
Looking back off Gary Eschen's number 23, looking back at the 95 of Chris Stump. Stump driving the all-black number 95 this season here in the Upstate Racing League. Just behind him, that is Bill Martin in his iconic number 39 machine, followed by Scott Austin, Stephen Roachford, just outside the top 10 there in car number 66. Then it's McLean, Martin, McIntyre, and Adam Gable rounding out the top 15. Now Eschen going to leave the hole. Oh, it was a tight one. Chris Stump tried to stick the 95 down there underneath the number 23. Just wasn't able to do it. It was close, though.
The big thing, though, is that was not nice to his tires. That looked like a 4-tire slide as he went through the apron, and that was going to put a lot of abuse to that right side. And you have got to protect that right front, especially here in these cars and at this racetrack. So we'll have to see if that's going to maybe cost that 95 in the long run, because Bill Martin is all over his rear bumper looking for an opportunity to get through.
Yeah, and you know right now, Bill Martin, the veteran, he's just sitting back there and riding around. The first half of this race is just being able to maintain. The second half of this race, as you see a little mistake there by the 39. The second half is going to be go time if you're the number 39 there, Bill Martin. Scott Austin, you know, driver that came in a couple seasons ago here into the Upstate Racing League. He pedaled around on the dirt side of things and had about, well, a mid-pack car. Then this past season on the dirt side, Scott Austin competed towards the front. And now here on a Wednesday night on the asphalt side of things, here is Scott Austin again punching inside the top 10, a driver that already has a top 5 this season. He's getting worked over, though, because that number 66 of Stephen Roachford, the driver who picked up one win so far this season, he's right behind him, and he's all over the back end of that number 5 of Scott Austin.
It almost looks like 3 pairs kind of attacking each other right now. We got Eschen being all over the back end of Blade Timmons. You got Stump being pressured by Martin, and now here comes actually Gary Eschen. He almost got his nose to the inside. He is going to get the nose to the inside quarter. He's going to get there to the through 3 and 4. A little bit better on the outside is that 23 of Blade Timmons. It is the 23 versus the 23, and Timmons is able to hang on to that position for now.
Yeah, Blade, one of those drivers that competed down at the Myrtle Beach Speedway in real life in these machines, came here to iRacing and now shows his real-world experience by being able to put the number 23 on the what's now kind of considered the outside groove, as got very close to the outside wall that time out of 4. Car looking a little tight out of turn 4, but was able to put his right foot down, keep the power down, keep it straight, and went right back around Gary Eschen. So Eschen having to fall back in line here. Maybe going to have to mount another offensive attack here on that number 23, because it seems like it's Timmons and Eschen holding up Stump, Martin, and Austin, who are running just behind them here on lap number 35.
Yeah, this group spread out just a little bit now, but looking back towards the front of the field, it is still all Mike Alexander as he continues to lead that little 4-car breakaway, as they have opened up an even larger gap over Barkhouse, is still kind of just on his own as he maintains his lead over that other group that is battling behind them for the 6th position.
Yeah, right now for Alexander, that is a 2.5 second lead over Matthew Barkhouse. It's 2.2 seconds back to the 6th place runner of Blade Timmons. The driver that is running, well, shotgun to the field right now of Adam Turner. He's got to look in his mirror because those race leaders here on lap number 37 are bearing down on him. He is 19 seconds behind the race leader. Maybe call, 2 tractor-trailer lengths from last to first.
Yeah, I'm taking a look, though, at Joe Schaefer Jr. He got all the way onto the apron trying to see if he can maybe catch up to Guillaume Fortin and maybe get himself to the inside. But as this race goes on, look, I'm looking at the track. There is a lot of marbles being built up, not just on the outside, but on the inside as well. So if they go all the way down on that apron, it may not give them the grip that they're hoping for.
Yeah, as we look high above on the blimp camera here tonight, As you see the race leaders getting around the number 92 of Adam Turner, you can see the marbles built up down on the inside. Call it maybe right where the Bryant Hacker was running. Maybe just a half a car length down there from those marbles on the inside. You don't want to get down there. It sounds exactly how it is. I mean, it's marbles. Think of it, race fans. Take the marbles you had as a child, throw them out on the floor, and try and walk over them. You slip, you slide. Well, it's the same thing for these tires. We drive here tonight. The abrasive asphalt rips up the marbles from the tires. It balls them up like little marbles, throws them out there. You run over them, you're going to slip and slide, and then it's going to take about a lap and a half for you to get the junk, a.k.a. those marbles, off the rubbers here tonight.
Yeah, like you mentioned there, they stick to the tire and it lasts for a little bit, as now we're actually seeing Joe Schaefer Jr. losing ground to Guillaume Fortin, and now he's starting to come under pressure from Brian Hacker, because that 6-car, the Epic Media machine, keeps going all the way down on the apron. That time, though, he's just going to ride that white line, try to hook the banking as much as possible, trying to get a good run off the corner, and that actually does help him as he opens up a bit of a gap to that 2-car.
Yeah, everybody's still chasing Mike Alexander as the leaders work down the back straightaway. Another lap car will come into play in about a lap and a half, possibly. That'll be car number 15, the driver out of New York, the pro stock driver. That is Tyler Bushy in car number 15. Then it'll be Ryan Holland, Wade Purchase, and then Al Smith. Everybody having to get going as the yellow flag is going to come out. Car number 15, nosed into the wall in the front straightaway here. The tires bowed out on the number 15, that is Matthew Barkhouse. That is slow down around the bottom side of the speedway. The first caution flag of the evening will fly here tonight at Stafford.
We're going to have to take a look at what happened to Barkhouse, because he was all on his own, like we were mentioning. I think he may have involved one of these lap cars.
There's Adam Turner to the outside as we watch the replay, and Turner, and what a ride there for the number 15 of Matthew Barkhouse. Turner was a lap down, and the 15 of Barkhouse just got in there. Let's watch this back again. You see Turner to the outside. He's up in the marbles. He comes down. Barkhouse thought he was going to be about a half a lane higher than he was there for Adam Turner. And those two make the contact, and that number 15 hard nose into the outside wall, up onto the roof, and back onto the wheels to drive it away. But that's going to be night ending here tonight for the 15.
Yeah, he comes down pit road, and so does our leaders in a large group of the field, actually. Pretty much everyone coming down to get fresh tires. One car that stayed out, though, that is the Epic Media machine, the number 6 of Joe Schaefer Jr. He is elected to keep out on the racetrack, maintain the track position, and try to hold on as much as possible, because that is going to be rough with how beat up those tires probably are.
And Mike Alexander going to go from the race lead all the way back to the 18th position. So he is going to have to, he's going to have his work cut out for him. Taking a look at it, some drivers also staying out along with Joe Schaefer Jr. to be Matt McLean, Jimmy McIntyre, Gavin Isley, Wade Purchase all staying out. Then a handful of drivers putting on 2 tires. So that's Brian Hacker, Blade Timmons putting on 2. I believe Guillaume Fortin put on 2, Gary Eschen, Chris Stump, Scott Austin, Stephen Rochford, Philip Martin, then Mike Alexander putting on 4, and I believe there's only 2 drivers actually that took 4 tires. Bill Martin, Mike Alexander here.
Yeah, I think that will kind of cost them more than it'll help them, because I can't imagine them really using those left sides all that much. I mean, maybe when they kind of hook the apron, it burns off the left sides a little bit, but I'd imagine the right sides are way more important. And I'd rather have the right sides changed and take the track position than to spend the time down in pit road and change the left sides as well.
Yeah, we see not a lot of passing here tonight at the Stafford Motor Speedway, and we're going to be halfway into this one. These drivers still under the yellow flag conditions, not told to double them up just yet. It'll be Schaefer, McLean, McIntyre, Hacker when we go back at this one. So a mixed bag of tricks here tonight for a lot of these drivers. We're going to see if it's going to be the no tires, the 2 tires, or possibly those 4 tires. And if there's anybody in the field here that could start way back into the field, it'll be Mike Alexander and Bill Martin. They will gain a couple positions because drivers like Gavin Isley coming down pit road there late into this one. We're going to double them back up. It'll be Joe Schaefer Jr. and Matt McLean on the front row for this restart.
Yeah, no surprises here. Joe Schaefer Jr. electing to take the inside lane, and we'll have to see if these tires can hold up, because there's going to be a lot of guys with some fresh rubber not too far behind him. As even just in the 4th place there, we see Brian Hacker, who I believe just took those 2 tires like you mentioned, but now pace car down and away. Let's see what that 6 car can do. Now he takes off. Green flag up in the air. Great jump, though, from the number 6 car, and he's going to try to rock it off down into turn number 1.
So Schaefer with a great start there. Matt McLean trying to get down to the bottom side. Jimmy McIntyre maybe not getting quite the restart he wanted in the 81. It'll be Schaefer to the point. Here comes Blade Timmons. He was looking 3 wide down the back straightaway. Thought better of diving to the inside of the 81 there in turn number 3. As Brian Hacker going to tank slap it off the wall out of turn number 4. First lap back to green, though, is being led by Joe Schaefer.
Oh, and the 51, big troubles for him. Tyler Bushy up into the wall as he got involved with a couple other cars and nearly spun it right out. But after banging the wall, he is able to get the car straightened out. But I think he's got some heavy damage. Yeah, he's getting all sorts of sideways now into turn 3.
You can see the front nose of that number 15. Oh, and he'll pancake the wall again out of turn number 4. Bushy just hanging on to this one here tonight at the halfway point. Goes down into turn 1. Something has gone awry on the 15 other than not coming to pit road. Now he's been up into the marbles numerous times, and those tires are not doing very well on the number 15 as he's still working to the outside. And he'll slide it again out of turn 4, almost into the outside wall again. So now Bushy all the way back to 21st here as the race leader is still Joe Schaefer, but now here comes Brian Hacker. With those 2 tires, he'll get around the Matt McLean entry. Here comes Blade Timmons also taking a bid out of 4.
Yeah, these drivers that took tires are just walking right through the ones that have stayed out as Matt McLean has just been kind of passed by 2 cars now. Guillaume Fortin had to go around the outside in a couple cars. Now he's going to get to the inside of the 88, door banging each other through 1 and 2. But now he's going to have that inside lanes through 3 and 4, and that 88 of McLean is not going to have an opportunity to find the bottom very soon. Actually, the 95 couldn't quite get his nose there, so he will take the position at the bottom lane, but I don't know for how long, because that 95 of Stump with those fresher tires, he is pressuring that 88 car.
Another one of those drivers that stayed out is the 81 of Jimmy McIntyre. He is stuck to the outside right now, and he has fallen outside the top 10. Here comes Chris Stump in the 95. He'll get to the inside here of Matt McLean. So the Misfit Motorsports number 88 now going to be pushed to the top side of the speedway. Stephen Rochford to be the next one in that Thunderbird entry, the number 66, to possibly get to the inside of McLean, and he will. He'll make quick work of that number 88. Then it'll be Mike Alexander, the driver that put on 4 tires, as everybody getting close that time out of 4.
Yeah, but Brian Hacker has caught up to Joe Schaefer Jr. now, and that's going to be really the difference in tires, and we're going to see it very apparent here as Hacker is going to get all over the rear bumper of that 6 car, trying to find an opportunity to get around the Epic Media Machine. Joe Schaefer Jr. just trying to hang on. He may be just trying to hang on till the next caution and take tires then, but I don't know if he's going to be able to last until then because Brian Hacker is moving fast.
Right now, the Epic Media entry able to stay in front of the number 2, but you see the turn that Hacker has from center off closed up even more right there. Now you just have to bide your time if you are a Hacker and just wait for the Epic Media number 6 to make the mistake. We've seen it down at 3 and 4. It looked like Hacker is a little bit better than Schaefer on the newer tires. You see Schaefer there driving in a little bit shallower and slide. Now here comes Hacker. He'll try to diamond that off, and he'll get to the quarter panel. Will Schaefer give it on the inside? It looks like he will. Schaefer knows that he is just on borrowed time now at the front of the field.
Yeah, it looks like Guillaume Fortin is trying to find a way around Blade Timmons. Last time we went to this racetrack here was a year ago, and it was the Guillaume Fortin taking home the win, so he is trying to get himself a back-to-back victory here and get his first victory of the year, but Brian Hacker looking to go back-to-back weeks in victory lane as he gets himself nearly clear to the 6, not quite there off of turn number 2. Looks like he got slightly loose off the corner.
Yeah, and as they battle side by side, there's Timmons. He is right there now. He will be able to work to the inside of the Epic Media entry, possibly. As well, there is that 6 of Joe Schaefer still being able to hold on to the outside. I'm very impressed that Schaefer's been able to hold to that quarter panel there, or that number 2 of Brian Hacker, for as long as he did. And now, actually, Joe Schaefer Jr. will be able to split those 2 drivers. He'll be able to go back to the bottom. He'll hold on to P2. But here comes Timmons. You can just see the better turn that these guys are getting off the corners.
And now Fortin actually going to get to the inside of Timmons. He goes all the way down, all the way to the yellow line through turn 1. Timmons, though, diamonding the corner well, getting a good run off the turn as Guillaume had ended up kind of sliding through the apron that last time around, but he still has his nose there, still trying to get through, but just got a little bit loose once again, and that's going to allow that 23 car to maintain the 3rd place.
So on lap number 63 here tonight, it's Brian Hacker, Joe Schaefer Jr., Blade Timmons, Guillaume Fort, and Chris Stump is the top 5 as that second group of cars being led by the black number 95 of Chris Stump. They are closing in on these race leaders as they were all battling. They have gone single file now, but for how long? You see Brian Hacker, he got the race lead from Joe Schaefer Jr. He's just not been able to really gap that second place machine. It's maybe called a half a car length down the back straightaway as Schaefer fires it back off into 3. He closes the gap. Hacker just does not seem like he is trying to run away and hide. A little contact there with the outside wall for the number 13G of Guillaume Fortin as he is back there into the 4 spot.
It's really impressive, though, how much Joe Schaefer Jr. has been able to hang on with these older tires. I mean, we've seen pretty much everyone else that was starting on old tires in this last restart has dropped like a rock through the field. I mean, Jimmy McIntyre Jr. is all the way back in 13th place, but Joe Schaefer Jr. is still hanging on to second, still keeping himself fairly close to Brian Hacker. So I'm guessing the 6 is just hoping for a caution maybe and just trying to get maybe a fresh set of tires there and he can try to charge the field. But I don't know if this is quite going to work for him as Blade Timmons still pressuring him pretty hard.
Yeah, it makes you question, Kelly. Since the 6 of Joe Schaefer Jr. did not come to pit road, he restarted at the front here. Is he being kind of played right now? Is Brian Hacker playing the games with Joe Schaefer Jr. now that Hacker knows that he's out front? Schaefer has the older tires. He's got kind of a wedge between him and the rest of the field.
I mean, it's working that way so far. He's got that wedge, like you said, between him and the 23 of Blade Timmons, who's the next car with a fresh set of right side tires. Speaking of drivers that took fresh tires, Mike Alexander and Bill Martin, they were the drivers that took 4 tires instead of 2, and they have made their way up through the field, but now seeming to stall out there back in 7th and 8th spot.
Gary Eschen right behind them. He is running into the 9th spot. Scott Austin is running into the 10th spot. So your top 10 actually look like Brian Hacker, Joe Schaefer Jr., Timmons, Fortin, Stump, Roachford, Alexander, Martin, Eschen, and Austin is how they are, as here comes the number 75 of Mike Alexander, taking a bid to the inside. That's car number 66 of Stephen Roachford. As a little bit of a wiggle for both those drivers, almost actually meeting in the middle that time out of turn number 2. Alexander down to the bottom side with those 4 tires as he'll slide it through the center. Still is able to get drive out of that number 75, and now he'll go back to work down in turn number 1. Seen a lot of drivers utilize that inside lane. It looks like he slipped a little bit, but so did Roachford. And now he'll nose ahead down the back straightaway for the 75 of Mike Alexander.
Yeah, Roachford now going to back out, and that's going to allow Bill Martin to get his nose in there. So Bill Martin going to try to follow Mike Alexander through as he's just been kind of letting Alexander push the other cars out of the way and just following in the gap. And that's going to drop Roachford back now into 8th place. Chris Stump has kind of caught up to the back end of this lead pack, and he's kind of starting to get onto the back bumper of the 13 car, and he's maybe trying to get himself up even further into this field.
Last time by, the fastest machine out onto the speedway was actually going to be the Mike Alexander machine. So Mike Alexander, who's right there just behind Chris Stump now, he's running into the 6th spot, was 1/10 of a second faster than everybody on the speedway. Joe Schaefer Jr., actually, that next driver, he was the second fastest driver last time by, and he's the driver on the old tire. So maybe Schaefer saving a little bit of tire in the early stages of this one, which is allowing him to hang here into that second position. Next time by, we're going to see 26 laps remaining here tonight at the Stafford Motor Speedway.
Yeah, Joe Schaefer Jr. has actually been able to catch up to Brian Hacker a little bit. He's now dropped back once again, and now it looks like actually a cloud has kind of rolled in, so this may help Schaefer just a little bit, as that'll help him save what's left of these tires just a little bit more.
A little deeper into the field, the battle here between the number 15 of Ryan Holland. He's to the outside. Gavin Isley working the bottom side of the speedway. Remember, we saw Isley, his car get up out of the groove, and it looked like there was something wrong, but now he's back on the loud pedal here, trying to make a pass. This is back here for the 15th and the 16th position, just behind him. That's car number 46 of Philip Martin. Then there's the 13 of Ty Delphia. Racing Jason's back there. A lot of heavy hitters here deep in the field here late in this one, because it's just 24 laps to go. As you saw, the 15 of Ryan Holland up out of the groove. Here comes Philip Martin. Martin just kind of riding back here in the Driving DJ Network right now. That number 46 will make the pass, and we're seeing now, will Ty Delphia be able to pounce on Ryan Holland?
We're getting a bit of a battle for 5th place starting to shape up here. Chris Stump is now completely under pressure from the 75 Mike Alexander. Alexander was able to get his nose to the inside and kind of make a bit of a lunge a couple laps ago, but just couldn't quite make the car stick. But now he's trying to use those 4 fresh tires to his advantage, because he took 4, like I said, he took 4. The 95 of Stump only took the right side, so that 75 is just kind of hooking that apron just a little bit better and getting a little bit of better run through the corner.
22 to go. It'll be 21 here as we still watch the battle back here for that 5th and 6th position, as they have actually ran down. You can see them getting closer and closer to the number 13 of Guillaume Fortin. Brian Hacker has opened up the biggest gap of the night for a race leader, as here comes Timmons. He'll take a look to the inside down the back straightaway. Nothing having it. He's just trying to fill the mirror of Joe Schaefer Jr., who is currently running P number 2. Schaefer there in 2. Timmons in 3rd, and then it's Guillaume, and Guillaume just took a bid to the inside also.
Yeah, it looks like those tires have completely fallen off now for Schaefer, as now that we're going to see the 23 get to the inside. He's going to get his nose to that quarter panel. He's going to have the inside lane going into turn 3 this time by, and that's going to force that 6 car to go all the way up the racetrack, up into the marbles, and the 95 behind them, he got a little loose off the corner. Looks like he may have tagged the ball, and that's going to allow an opportunity for Mike Alexander to take 5th place away.
Yeah, Chris Stump, he knew he was in no man's land there. He had just backed out of it, let Mike Alexander go right on by. Why damage it more than you have to? If you are Chris Stump and you see Joe Schaefer Jr. now is back to running into the 4th position, Mike Alexander would be right behind him. So with the closing laps, here comes Mike Alexander trying to storm through the field. It's 18 to go. It'll be 17 to go. And well, I thought there for a minute that Alexander was going to be able to get to the inside of Joe Schaefer Jr., but he backed it off just for a moment. Will he be able to attack him here out of turn 4?
He's going to have the overlap almost. He was looking to the inside, but then dropped back behind the 6 car. Just in front of them, though, the battle for second is also heating up as Guillaume Fortin putting a lot of pressure on Blade Timmons. Has looked a couple times to the inside, maybe looking to lay the bumper on him as we are running out of laps here. 15 laps, or coming up to 16 laps to go as they cross the stripe this time.
It's Hacker, it's Timmons, it's Fortin, Schaefer, and Alexander, the top 5 drivers. Alexander taking a look again down to the inside. Will he have a run? He will not. Chris Stump is still there. Bill Martin back into the 7th spot. As you see all these drivers all in the same picture frame. 15 laps to go this time by at the line. Here comes Mike Alexander. He'll now get to the inside of the Epic Media number 6.
And he's going to pretty much clear him now coming off of turn 2, and that's going to allow Chris Stump. Actually, no, Stump got loose off of turn 2 there, so that killed his momentum. He's not quite going to get there. He's now going to lunge it up the inside on through turns 3 and 4, trying to get to the inside of that 6 car, prevent him from getting down to the bottom. But this time, Joe Schaefer Jr. is just going to concede that bottom lane, move out of the way, and allow Stump and Martin to get through.
Yeah, you can just tell the tires on the number 6 for Schaefer are absolutely gone at this point. Bald like the top of my head here with just 13 laps to go. Schaefer finds himself running all the way back into the 7th running position. Everybody chasing the Hack Daddy here tonight. 13 to go, and look at the gap. It's a 1.5 second gap here tonight for Brian Hacker, but he has started to work himself into lap traffic. There you can see the lap car. That'll be the number 15 of Bushy. That will be the first one that he will come upon here with just 11 laps to go. Your race leader is in lap traffic.
He actually came across one just a minute ago, and the rest of the field is now just getting by him. And that was the 88 of Matt McLean, who was one of those drivers that I believe stayed out on the lead or on the track that last caution, stayed on the tires. I believe restarted 2nd and is now all the way down in 23rd, a lap down. But now Guillaume Fortin still trying to find a way around Blade Timmons, and while these two fight, Brian Hacker is just opening up that gap. Last time across the line it was 1.7 seconds, and I think it's going to be even bigger this time.
Double high fives at the flag stand here tonight. It'll be 10 laps to go here. Hacker, almost a 2-second race lead. Guillaume trying to go all the way as low as he can, almost touching the infield grass through turns 1 and 2 that time, because he knows he has to go. He's got that blue, black, and bright yellow number 75 on Mike Alexander right there, and he knows he has fresher tires. They've been telling him, hey, Guillaume, watch the number 75 there of Alexander, and Alexander going all the way to the bottom, just like we saw Guillaume last time by through 1 and 2. This time by at the stripe, it'll be just 9 laps to go. One car having some problems. That'll be the 66 of Stephen Roachford down to the infield grass. No caution flag. We stay going, almost 3 wide there as Roachford came back out onto the speedway, almost into the number 46 there of Philip Martin.
And they did go 3 wide for a moment as they had to get around that 88 of Matt McLean, who is still just trying to stay out of the way and is just dropping back to the field once again. Still, though, they're getting past another lap car here, and that's the Tyler Bushy getting into the wall, and that sends cars scrambling through the front straightaway. That causes a number of these drivers to have to go really tight and shallow through 1 and 2, and that actually cost Mike Alexander a lot as he had to drop way back off the cars in front of him.
So with 7 to go, it's a 2-second lead for Hacker. Now it's 6 to go as he came by the stripe. So a 2-second lead, 6 laps to go for Hacker. And it's about a half a second back now from Guillaume all the way to Mike Alexander. And Alexander looks like he has damage from that lap car. Take a look at that right front, Kelly. The number 75 of Mike Alexander wounded, coming to get 5 laps to go.
Yeah, it does look like there is a bit of a dent there. I don't know if that's the normal amount of camber he had coming into this, so we'll have to see if that costs. Oh, the 95 goes around. Chris Stump spinning, so is Bill Martin. They're all in the infield grass, no caution.
No caution coming out with 5 laps to go, as there you see the Stump machine rolling to a stop to the infield. He will actually pull it to the infield here. He will be done. So now the players into this one will be Brian Hacker, Blade Timmons, Guillaume Fort, Mike Alexander, who is running, well, about 3.5 seconds behind the race leader. And now it's Joe Schaefer Jr. back into the 5th position. The field has been scattered. Kelly, take a look at the driver that is running into the 8th position with just 3 laps to go here tonight. That driver, that's Al Smith. He started just outside the top 10, dropped to last on the jump of the race here down the back straightaway, and now he's running 8th.
Yeah, those fresher tires really worked out for Al Smith Jr., and he's been able to just charge through the field throughout the race, but just a couple laps left in this race now. Brian Hacker all but has this in the bag. Really, the focus now comes to that 2nd place. Is Guillaume Fortin going to go 3 races in a row with 2nd place finishes, or is Blade Timmons going to be able to hang on to it?
Blade Timmons coming into the night said he was not good, as the white flag will fly here. Caution lights. Caution lights are on the speedway. Problems for the W6 of Michael Peak. Problems for the number 46 of Philip Martin. I bet you right now Brian Hacker is beating on the steering wheel and cursing, words that we cannot say.
Yeah, Brian Hacker, really the only thing that could have stopped him was a late caution, and that is exactly what happened. And that's going to give an opportunity for Blade Timmons, really a big opportunity for Guillaume Fortin as well, because Timmons is going to be forced to start on the outside of this next restart.
Well, let's take a look back here. What happened to the W6 of Michael Peak? There you see the 46 down to the inside, and Peak going to throw a block. They were battling for what looked like to be the 15th position as they were getting the leaders were getting the white flag. Not sure if there was something that caused that earlier there for those 2 drivers, but that's what we see going down into 1. Roachford, unfortunately, he got into it. So did Rodney Hontoon. Innocent bystanders down there in turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't entirely say completely innocent, because those drivers had been spun for a moment and they came into that corner completely hot. So maybe could have checked up a little bit, but they were wondering if there wasn't going to be any caution, because they may have thought the white flag had been taken by the leader. And if that was the case, there wouldn't have been the caution, and this race would have stayed alive. So they were just trying to go for any position they could get. But now we've got those 2 lap cars of Peak and Martin in between the leaders. I think they'll be shuffled back. I don't quite know for sure before we get the green flag.
So this race got to go into overtime here tonight, race fans. So what's a little extra racing here tonight at the Stafford Motor Speedway here tonight for the Dr. Noise Spring Fling 100. If you need a paint on iRacing or a paint in NASCAR 2003, there's only one place to go, and that is Dr. Noise. Check him out over on Facebook. He's the driver of the number 39 here tonight. That is Bill Martin. You see, everybody is getting told to come around the W6 of Michael Peak and the number 46 there of Philip Martin. So those 2 drivers will drop all the way to the tail of the field here tonight at the Stafford Motor Speedway, as we will get ready for a green-white checker attempt.
Yeah, a little bit of bonus racing here tonight is really, I'm sure a few of these drivers were excited to be able to get another opportunity to improve their positions. But like we mentioned, one driver not happy with this, the 2 of Brian Hacker. He had this race pretty much guaranteed. He was going to win this thing because he had over 2 second lead over back to Blade Timmons. So we'll have to see if that 2 car does have the pace that he's been showing, or if it was just the battling between Timmons and Fortin that was slowing them up.
A driver also that wanted to see that one come to an end was Mike Alexander. Alexander, remember, holding on to that 4th position with the damage on the right front of car number 75. Now he'll have to restart, and it will be to the outside of the 2nd row, and everybody else will be lined up right behind him. He'll have the number 5 of Scott Austin. He'll have Joe Schaefer Jr., Adam Gable, even Al Smith is right there running into the 8th position still, as we will come to get the one to go. The lights should disappear from the top of the race car or pace car, and they do. So these race machines will get back to going. Green, white, checker attempt. We're come take the green. The next time by, we'll take the white flag, and then it'll be the first one back to the start-finish line here tonight to win tonight's Dr. Noise Spring Fling for the Best Colorful Creations Pro Series here tonight for the Upstate Racing League.
Yeah, and there's only one shot at a green-white checkered. This will be the final restart, so everything is hinging on this restart. A caution flag will end it. Pace car now into the safety of pit road, and is in Brian Hacker's hands. Hacker takes a good jump, and that's going to give him a good opportunity to lead this race. Now you see the 23 Blade Timmons. He immediately gets down to the bottom to try to block off that 13 of Guillaume Fortin.
Timmons going to slide, though, to the outside of turn number 2. That'll allow Guillaume to get a run here down the back straightaway. Guillaume will be able to work to the inside, so it'll be Hacker. Here comes Guillaume. The white flag will fly here out of turn for the final lap of tonight's race as one driver into the outside wall. It'll be Mike Alexander.
Yeah, good for Brian Hacker. He is going to hang on to this one. All he has to do is get around 2 corners clean because the 2nd and 3rd place drivers are battling each other for position. So Brian Hacker getting off of turn number 4. He will win the race tonight here at Stafford Motor Speedway. Guillaume Fortin gets the 2nd place by a nose, and Blade Timmons will have to settle for 3rd.
So there you have it, a race tonight here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. Unofficial results on the left-hand side of the screen. Hacker is able to hang on to tonight's victory as he is being scored P number 1. 2nd place was Guillaume Fort, and then it was Blade Timmons. How about Scott Austin coming back to finish 4th here tonight? Joe Schaefer Jr. finishing 5th. 6th place here tonight was Al Smith Jr. Mike Alexander going to drop some spots on that late race restart. He'll finish 7th. Gary Eschen was 8th. Adam Gable is 9th, and Gavin Isley will finish into the 10th position. Bill Martin outside the top 10 here tonight with Stephen Rochefort. Jason Dobbs, Ty Delphia, and Jimmy McIntyre will hold on for a 15th place finish. Those are all unofficial results here tonight at the Stafford Motor Speedway. We will take a quick step away here from Stafford. We'll get these cars lined up. We're talking to the top 3 here in just a couple of moments, race fans. Don't go anywhere. Here what the battle for 2nd was at the end of this one, or how Brian Hacker felt when that late race caution came out.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Welcome back here, race fans, to the Stafford Motor Speedway here tonight for the Dr. Noise Spring Fling 100 for the Best Colorful Creations Pro Series presented by the Upstate Racing League. A good race here tonight at Stafford, and it came down to that late race yellow. You saw it live, but don't take my word for it. How about we go down trackside here tonight and talk to the top finishers here tonight and, well, see this through their point of view. Let's start things off with the driver that will finish third here tonight. Blade, a great race for yourself. Ran inside the top 3, the top 5 all evening long. But late in this run, a lot of different strategies. The tires going away. Some drivers with new tires coming up from the back. How did it feel, though, in that number 23?
Yeah, we had a good tire conservation for the first half once the caution came out. Obviously 4 is not an option when you're running in the top. So took 2, and it started getting a little snow quick. The pace was definitely faster the second half of the race, and 13 car was on my tail, so I had to constantly push it, but we tried to make it work.
When you guys went back racing, I believe it was right around the halfway portion is when you guys came to pit road. You had the 6 of Joe Schaefer Jr. staying out there on the old tires. You had Brian Hacker just ahead of you. What did you think was going to happen there with those old tires versus the new tires that you guys all had?
I figured obviously it'd be a substantial difference. He actually hung in a lot longer than I expected him to. I tried to follow Hacker through. It didn't work out for me. I just couldn't keep the nose at the door, so I just continued to ride behind him, and eventually he fell off a cliff, so that's when we made the move.
Late in this one, coming to get that white flag, the caution flag flying, overtime here tonight. Did you think you had the tires left after that run?
Absolutely not. I knew I was cooked. Like I said, I had 13 kind of make passes left and right on him. He raced me extremely clean, so obviously that's always a great thing. We door banged on the last lap, but that's expected. It's short track racing, so I had a great time. It was fun racing with him, and it's just the passing here is insanely hard to do, so he made a hell of an effort and got it done.
Well, you made a comment pre-race here tonight that the 23 was absolutely trash. What flipped the script here for this car to finish on the podium tonight?
I'm going to be honest with you, I have no idea because I'm terrible at this track, so I wing it and pray for the best. So it worked out in our favor tonight.
Well, you're able to come home third here tonight. Blade picking up 4 spots before we let you go. Who's on the side of this Christmas theme, number 23 tonight?
We'd like to thank Elite Performance for always sponsoring us, and I'd like to thank y'all for being up there in the booth, and Al for putting on a great lead for us to come out here and have fun there.
Well, there it is. Jason Dobbs out in the chat tonight, pulling for the number 23 of Blade Timmons. Timmons will finish P number 3 here on the podium. I believe, Kelly, you're standing by, though, with the driver that will have, there's a 3 attached to it, and it's not just in his number, it's in how many races he's finished second.
Yeah, caught up now with Guillaume Fortin for the 3rd week in a row, finishing second. Is it getting a little frustrating, or are you just thinking about the big picture with the points?
No, it's definitely frustrating to come home second for a 3rd race in a row, but it's fun to have a start of season like this. But Brian is doing a hell of a job winning 2 races so far, so hopefully we have something for him next week at Oxford.
Well, this track, as we've mentioned on the broadcast earlier tonight, very flat. How hard was it, though, to not only pass but to also save tires?
Yeah, the first half of the race I was kind of managing my tire, but with that caution and some guys taking tire and some are don't taking tires, I kind of pushed a little bit harder than I wanted to, and Blade did an awesome job to defend the bottom side of the track. It's so hard to pass when you're trying to diamond the corner in 1 and 2, so he did a hell of a job, and it was fun racing until the end.
Well, we thought this race was pretty much wrapped up, and then a caution came out right before the end. What was going through your mind when you saw that yellow flag pop up?
Oh yeah, I was definitely happy because with that caution, that means I turned inside line, and I really thought I had something for Brian at the end, but he got a hell of a start, and I had to battle again for 2nd place. But it's fun to have a clean battle like that and bang door a little bit. Always fun, but hopefully I'll have something for Brian.
Well, next week we head to Oxford, and it's kind of the same thing where you want to be hanging on to that bottom lane. You expecting some more bumping and banging next week?
Hopefully it goes well. With the new dynamic track, I think we can have some side-by-side racing, hopefully. So I think it's going to be a great race, and hopefully I can maybe gain 1 spot at the end of the race and finish with the win.
All right, well, before we let you go, Guillaume, once again, thank you so much for coming out and talking to us, but who helped you get it done here and get you up into a second-place finish tonight?
Yeah, first of all, I have to thank Gestion PG. They're doing all kind of workstation and pit box for racing, and they can also put workstation in the trailer, so hit them up if you need anything. And Al for putting up this awesome league, and you guys for putting up an awesome broadcast every week.
All right, thank you once again for coming and talking to us. Hopefully we'll hear from you again next week at Oxford Plains, but hopefully maybe it's one spot higher.
Yeah, hopefully.
As Guillaume Fortin, driver, the number 13, our second-place finisher once again, but now we're going to be moving on, and I believe Roger's caught up with our race winner.
Yeah, standing in victory lane here tonight at Stafford Motor Speedway for the Dr. Noise Spring Fling 100 winner. It's the driver to Huntley, Illinois. Brian, a great run for you in this number 2 machine, the second time you've been to victory lane. Tonight, this one looked like it was going to be about, well, maybe a little bit easier than the last one, and then all of a sudden, the caution flag. What went through your mind coming to get the white flag out of turn number 4? It's in the air, and it gets pulled back.
Yeah, so last season going back, we led a bunch of laps at Stafford, and there's a green-white checker, and we ended up getting turned for the win. So honestly, on lap 99, I was thinking just get to the white as quickly as you can. And we crossed the finish line, and I saw a car spun out in 1 and 2, and I thought, it's all right, I'm across the finish line, and the yellow came out. And sure enough, we had to line them back up for a green-white checker. So I just wanted to get a good start, get through 1 and 2 smoothly, and maybe build a little bit of a gap so that it would be tough for those guys to chase me down.
And then we went back racing there, and you were able to get that jump, and you were able to get out there and come back around to pick up your second win of the season. A great start to the season here for you. 2 wins in the first 3 races, 3 top 5s, 3 top 10s, and it looks like leaving here tonight, you should be the points leader when it's all factored in. And I know it's early, but what are you thinking here early in this one with the hot start you've had?
Yeah, I mean, if you'd have told me we'd have 2 wins in the first 3 races, I'd be tickled with it. So obviously we're thrilled with the way that the season started. But just as easily as it is to, have a great start, you can, get cold or run into a string of bad luck pretty easily. So hoping to avoid that. Just looking for solid finishes. Obviously we want to get as many trophies as we can along the way. But, if we're going to be here to points race this season, then if as many top 5s as possible would be great.
Well, a great run for you here tonight, Hacker. I know we head a little bit northeast here of the Stafford Speedway. We head to Oxford 1 week from now, and there's a great opportunity to look like Wayne McDuff looked a couple years ago.
Yeah, that's an interesting track. I haven't run it in a while. It's fun. It can be a lot of fun when widens out to 2 or 3 grooves. Hopefully it does that. We'll see. It depends on weather and how these cars react and the like, but it'll be fun. Looking forward to it. So hopefully we don't end up turtled on a roof like Wayne likes to do, and maybe we can park it for 3 in a row.
Well, what do you say? Let's roll this red carpet out. I did not clean it. I did not dust it, so it's still dirty from last week. What do you say? Who's on the side of the number 2?
Yeah, so as always, Scott Austin Designs. He had a great run tonight, finished 4th, just almost joined us up here on the podium, but gives me good looking rides every week. Everybody that's been on the side of the car for a while, Boulder Beer Bar, Aberdeen Lodge, Carbon Junction, thanks to you and Kelly for doing this. Love going back and listening to the races. You guys do a great job, and Al for putting this thing on, and Wayne for absolutely nothing at all.
There you have it. The driver out of Huntley, Illinois, will pull off another victory here tonight with the Upstate Racing League. Brian Hacker winning the Dr. Noise Spring Fling here tonight at the Stafford Motor Speedway. A great race here that leads us, to the next one. Where does that lead us? The Oxford Plains Speedway for the Best Colorful Creations 125 from the smallest track on the schedule. That's going to be a good one. Kelly, closing thoughts here before we leave the Stafford Motor Speedway?
Yeah, it ended up being a pretty great race here tonight. I mean, it was pretty quiet throughout the start of this race until we had that caution, and we got, like you mentioned, the different strategies of drivers taking tires, drivers not taking tires, drivers taking 2, taking 4, and then we had the mix-up of that last caution. So great race here tonight, and that's been 3 really fun races to start this season, and hopefully next week at Oxford, we make it 4 in a row.
Well, we look forward to seeing what we can bring just 1 week from now with the Upstate Racing League when we head to the Oxford Plains Speedway. So, race fans, what do you say? That's Kelly Dahl. I'm Roger Muth. We hope you enjoyed tonight's show here from the virtual Stafford Motor Speedway. And until we see you next time, race fans, everybody stay safe. And we'll see you in Turn 3.